Hey, pageant fans. Hey, pageant fans. Welcome to my live episode of Tea Stance on Pageantry. I'm your host, Teresa. If you're new here, we talk all things pageantry. And today, in particular, we are going to be talking about the Miss Universe competition. So, this is my recap of the Miss Universe competition, um, which was held on, was it November 16th, I think? Um, yeah. So, lots to talk about. I got lots to say because this one, you guys, just 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 what the headline says. What was this production? The 73rd, but what really was it? Because it was not giving the 73rd Miss Universe, I have to say. I got a lot to say about it, so we are not going to waste any time. We are going to jump right in. Feel free to comment and leave your thoughts on this edition of the pageant. I am looking forward to responding to you guys. So be sure to leave your comments down below. And if you are not already subscribed, be sure to subscribe because we do a lot of fun things here. And I'm from the Cayman Islands, in case anyone was wondering. And I, from time to time, talk about Cayman pageantry. So if you have ever wanted to learn more about Cayman pageantry, then be sure to tune in. I'm hoping to branch out and do a little bit more in the Caribbean. So definitely subscribe and make sure to hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when my next videos come out. Now, let's get into this recap because your girl got a lot to say about a lot. All right, so I'm actually going to pull up my little screen here, okay, because I need y'all to be able to see what I'm talking about here for a second. Okay, so first off, when I saw this, I was kind of like, I am not loving this. I'm not really loving this. I don't love it until we get to this part right here, where Shanice is telling us, welcome to the 73rd Miss Universe competition. I think that this is the best shot. I love it. This is an amazing, amazing shot. I love the musicians on the rooftop, all of it. It looks really, really good there. We even get some shots of the girls dancing. I think looks great. All of that really, really beautiful. Love to see the musicians. I thought that part was really fun, and I wish that we had gotten more of it. It just left me wanting more. And see, you see the girls dancing, they're having a good time. Great aerial shots of Mexico. So it wasn't bad for an opening. I didn't absolutely hated it, but I just wish more. I just want more. But this looks good. See, getting the ladies, they're giving nice shots, looking really beautiful. There we go. Looking for Venezuela looks great there. But yeah, so they looked really good in those first few shots. I will say that I enjoyed the opening, that little portion of it. Now, when we get to the stage, that's a whole different conversation that we're going to talk about here now, because the stage is where I take issue. That's really where I was like, oh my goodness, what are we doing? What are we doing, Miss Universe? Just what exactly are we doing? So let me see if I can speed up my clip to the stage. Oh, there we go. Let's see if I can, okay. So we've got the stage. One second, let me just, so this is what we're seeing here. We're getting the stage. Okay, so we get the full wide shot of the stage. We get to see the ladies for a little bit, right? And this isn't bad, not bad, not bad. The only thing is, you guys, why are they panning so quickly across the ladies? That's the part that irks me, is they pan so quickly across the ladies that it's like you're not even really getting to enjoy them. Does that make sense? What is this shot? Why are we coming in and looking at the heads? Like, did you see that shot? Like, look at it. It's coming up. So panning so quickly, we don't even get to see who these ladies are because it's out of focus. And then why are we panning over the ladies' heads? Like, what is that? And then like everything, it's just like you can tell the person who directed this did not, what is this shot? What is this shot? What is this shot? Like, what is that? Why are we, ladies and gentlemen, let us be real here. Let me come on camera. Let us be real here. I know what I'm talking about because I'm coming from a background of broadcast journalism. I'm an actress, so I've been in film and theater. I know shots. I know camera shots. And I am just like, even as a fan, I'm sure many of you as a fan did not enjoy this opening number because why are we looking at the ladies from the bottom of the stage and looking up at them? Why is that even a shot that you would want to have? That doesn't make any sense. And I'm just like, that irked me so much. It irked me how quickly they were panning across the ladies. It was like, it's giving, I don't understand the assignment. And I have worked with people who don't understand the assignment. Let me tell you, I've worked with photographers who are not, they don't take photos of people. They take photos of like nature and landscaping and all of that stuff, right? They're more that kind of wildlife type of photographer. And when you work with people who don't understand that the person is the subject of the shot, you get stuff like this. Like, I've worked with photographers in the past who do not understand that the person is the subject of the shot. And it's very disappointing to see that this was what they gave us for the opening number, especially for like someone like me coming from a small country. I'm coming from a country that doesn't have any sash factor to it, the Cayman Islands. The opening number is like one of those moments where you kind of get to see your country, you get to see your girl on stage a little bit. I saw nothing of her. I don't even know where she was. She could have not been there because you couldn't see anyone. It was just so fast. I'm like, why are we panning across the ladies like they're part of the background? It was like they were background dancers and the only thing they cared about was like the performers. Now, don't get me wrong, the performers are important, and yes, we did pay money for them to be there and to sing, but well, I'll make a joke about that later. But the girls, they are the subject of this show. They are the most important part. And so we should have been focused on them. Where they should have given us aerial shots, they didn't give us aerial shots, which was when they were doing that V thing. I could tell they were doing some kind of V thing on the stage. That would have looked nicer from above, guys. When we have the ladies dance on stage as a group, we want a wide shot so we can see everybody on the stage. And I felt like they could have broken the girls up into groups, like groups of 2 at least, or something like that, or even like broken them into continents then, since we're doing the whole Continental Queen, because I very much see that the stage is not big enough for all of these people on it. And that's why they all crammed together in the center like that. Y'all could have there's just so many ways that this could have been fixed, that y'all could have made it work, but you didn't. And it's just like, this is the 73rd. But it's not giving me the 73rd energy that it should be giving. It was very disappointing. I was very annoyed. I was like, what is these shots? Like, why? Why are we getting these shots now? Very annoying. Anyway, let us move on from the opening number. Did y'all see in the introduction, right? I do want to make a point of this because this was really interesting. The makeup. I don't know who was backstage doing the makeup. I never had a problem with the Miss Universe, like the hairstylists and makeup artists who do the girls' makeup. Usually very much on point. And even before the show, the makeup from social media that I saw looked very much on point. But can I tell you that a lot of the ladies did not look good. Their makeup did not look good. And I'm just like, why? Why is this a thing? Like, you got some girls whose blush was too harsh for them, whose contour was just too harsh for them, or the color wasn't right. It was horrible, horrible. Not everyone, but there were certain people whose makeup just was not giving what it was supposed to give. It was just like overdone. And I was so disappointed and so saddened for these girls because, like, what was that? Like, this is a pageant. You're supposed to look and feel your best. And here we got ladies on the stage who are not looking their best. And it is wild to me. Wild that they are not looking their best. So it was very disappointing to see that. But when the ladies went to introduce themselves, did you notice that Dominican Republic was the only one who said her name and then her country? And I noticed that there was like a video. I think I mentioned this in my prelims, recap as well. You guys can go back and check. But I saw a video of her. It was on social media where she was on stage and you could see like somebody was downstage. One of the stage hands was downstage, like trying to cue her to tell her to like exit, and she was just standing there, not listening, not paying attention, maybe, or just ignoring them. I'm not sure, but when I heard her say her name and she was the only one who did that, it kind of reminded me of that time, of when that happened. And I was just like, oh, so she kind of seems like she likes to play by her own rules, and that is something that can really work against you. It just depends, and I just wanted to point that out, that she seems to be a bit of a rule breaker, or maybe a risk taker is a little bit of a better word to say. She's a bit of a risk taker. Yeah, sometimes when you do stuff like that, it makes you stand out, but not for the right reasons. So I did peep that, and I don't know if anybody else clocked that, but comment down below if you did and what you thought about that. I thought the costumes were okay. I mean, they were just okay. Some of them had like gloves or like cut sleeves or something, and not a big fan of it. I wasn't a big fan of it, but it was okay. Then it was just okay. But did y'all also notice, and I noticed this was for every single girl, you could see that they were looking to the side for their cue to say their country's name. Never have I ever seen that before. Never have I ever seen that before on a Miss Universe stage. Why were they looking to the side to be cued, right? Like, are there no teleprompters, like, to say, like, like to let the girls know that it's your time to shine, girl? They were all like standing there like this, and then they would see the person, and then their eyes would look directly in the camera, and they'd go, Cayman Islands, or whatever country they're from. It was just like, okay, like I can see every one of them looking to the side for their cue, and I was just like, this is giving amateur. It's giving amateur. What happened? Someone who has the inside scoop, let me know. Did they just not have teleprompters? Like, what's going on with the production? Was the venue just not up to par with what we expect? Was it just the venue's limitations, or was there something else going on? Like, did they have technical difficulties? Like, I'm not sure. I also, speaking of technical difficulties, I also noticed that Zimbabwe's mic was either not on or was too low. Never have I ever. Did they not do any testing? Did we not do any testing? How? How was her microphone either low or off? Because you really couldn't hear her. Tell me. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense. So those were some of the things I noticed about the opening and the introductions. I also want to mention that Olivia Culpo, girl, we love you, but she was distracting me because I think she was nervous, and so she was like swaying from like left to right, and I was just like, okay, girl, you gotta stop swaying because you're distracting me. And did anyone else notice that when they went to introduce the judges, that when they went to introduce Nova specifically, and for those of you who don't know Nova, she was Miss Universe Canada 2020, and she unfortunately did not make the top 20, and it was like a big like thing because like people really liked her, and I thought she stood out. She had a unique look, and yeah, I thought she would have made top 20, and she didn't. I noticed when they introduced her, they did not introduce her as a former Miss Universe Canada. they actually said that she was like the first woman of South Sudanese heritage to compete in the pageant. I think that was that's what they said. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I thought it was interesting that they made no reference to her being a former Miss Universe Canada, and I wondered, what is the story there? What is the story? If you guys got the tea on that, I would love to know, because if it were me, I would want to be known as former Miss Canada, former Miss Universe Canada. Gives me a bit more credibility as to why I'm a judge in this pageant, you know? I also noticed that they had Emilio Esteban, when the head judge, seated at a different table. And did anybody else notice that he went to like say something on a microphone and it was written on the piece of paper there on the table? I was just like, again, no teleprompter. Like, why is the script written there for him? Like, no teleprompter, none, just none. What is this? What is this production? I ask you, what is this? One of the things I noticed was, or one of the things I did like, was when they call the top 30, I really like that they had packages, mini packages, very small, very teeny tiny little packages, which is fine. So they would play them, they would call the country name, and then they would play the little package. I thought that was nice. I liked that. I liked the silhouette of the girls, and the music was perfection, I thought. And I did think the package itself, the volume was too low. They needed to raise the volume because you couldn't really hear what the girl was saying in the clip, or like you had to struggle to hear it. Again, technical difficulties. Like, did we not do a run through? Did we not? So yeah, we got our top 30. So top 30, France, India, Serbia, Vietnam, Puerto Rico, Nigeria, Canada, Cuba, China, Japan. Those were the first 10. And can I tell you that out of those 10, I was shocked, because we got some dark horses, at least dark horses for me. You can comment down below if they were dark horses for you. I did not see these ladies coming. Serbia, Vietnam, China, and Japan. I was shocked, because that's four. That's four people in the top 30 that I did not see coming, and that means that there are 4 people on my list who are not gonna make it. I was like, wow. I was shocked. I was so shocked. And then the next set was Egypt, Mexico, Argentina, Thailand, Peru, Macau, Philippines, Ecuador, Bolivia, Malaysia, Russia, Aruba. Oh, I'm going past it. I'm going past the next set. But basically, I did not see, let me tell you, I didn't have Egypt on my list. Wow. I didn't have Macau on my list. Malaysia or Russia was not on my list. Even though I noticed Russia, I did not have her on my list. So I was surprised at that. And I'm like, that is, again, another 4 girls not on my list. So that's a total of 8 people not on my list. I was like, what is happening? What is happening? And honestly, I do love a little bit when we get girls that are unexpected, because it makes for an interesting show. It keeps me on my toes. So I wasn't mad or anything. I was just like, wow. And then we had Aruba, Finland, Dominican Republic, Cambodia, and then we had Nicaragua, Denmark, Venezuela, Zimbabwe, and Chile. And out of that last set, I did not have Nicaragua on my list. So I was just like, wow. So USA did not make it. And that, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, when was the last time we didn't see USA making top 30 or top 20? Like, USA. I was shocked. I was shook. I was like, we didn't see, let me see. I don't think, we didn't see Brazil make it. She was on my list. Wow. Comment down below who you thought was going to make top 30 that didn't. Comment down below. Let us know who you thought was going to make the top 30 but didn't. I was shocked by this. There were a total of like 9 people who were on my list who were not on my list, and I was just shocked. And it made me feel like interview must have played a stronger role this year. I don't really know the scoring of Miss Universe. I don't really know what percentage of it or how it works really. Like a portion I know that somehow the Miss Universe organization contributes to the top 30 as well as the judges. So I'm not sure like what they base it off of, like the organization per se. But there were 9 people in there, and I feel like for me, this is the first time that I feel like we felt the hand of the organization so heavily influencing the top 30. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing about putting some of them women in the top 30 is that with Miss Universe, it's very much a stage pageant, and you have to have the stage skills to like advance. So when you put women in there who maybe they are interview like great but not stage great, it means they make the first cut but then they don't break through to um the next segment because their stage skills are just not as strong as some of the other girls. And that's the truth. So for me, once I watched them, I had my kind of like my faves, my standouts. The ones who caught my eye were like France, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Mexico, Argentina, Thailand, Philippines, Bolivia, Russia, Finland, DR, Venezuela, Zimbabwe. And then, you know, I had a couple of people who were on my edge, like India and Serbia and Nigeria, Peru, Aruba, and Chile. So I don't want to say that Philippines, she did bring it. She did turn it around. She gave us the sexy fares that I asked for. She did. Um, so that was, so that was good to see. I thought like, for me, like I thought the ones that I named were the ones that would have advanced, really. So when we got the top 12, it was actually Bolivia, Mexico, Venezuela, Argentina, Puerto Rico, Nigeria, Russia, Chile, Thailand, Denmark, Canada, and Peru. Did I miss Bolivia when I first? I think I might have missed Bolivia earlier. But yeah, so it was for the top 12, it was Bolivia, Mexico, Venezuela, Argentina, Puerto Rico, Nigeria, Russia, Chile, Thailand, Denmark, and Canada, and Peru. So during the evening gown segment, which they all 12 of them participated in the evening gown, we had Robin Thicke perform, and I do like me some Robin Thicke. He's got some songs that I like. But Miss Universe, did y'all just like pay him to sing a line, 2, 3, 4 lines or something? Because that's very much how it felt. It was not giving you paid him in full to perform a full song. It was giving, we will pay you portion for you to pay a portion of your song. That's what it was giving. It wasn't giving like what we used to. Comment down below what y'all thought about Robin Thicke's performance, because I was side-eyeing it. I was like, they didn't pay him enough to do all of this. They didn't pay him enough. Anyway, honestly, I was watching that evening gown segment. I gave up on predictions because I was just like, I couldn't watch it properly because they were again with the camera angles. And let me see if I can pull it out, because this is something I definitely want to show y'all. The camera angles for the evening gown segment. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Okay, we're almost there. Oh, wow. Okay, so let's see if we can pull up these evening gown segment here just very quickly. Okay, I'm just gonna fast forward it so we can get to the first chica. So Bolivia comes out, okay, fine. This was okay, but I mean, like, why am I seeing the back of her? You know what I mean? Like, yes, thank you. Get her centered. Thank you. Center her, follow her. Like, oh my gosh. I just felt like some of the camera angles, like some of the ladies, their performances got cut short. It was just giving like bloop, like bloop. They just appeared for like a second and then that was it. It was very much like, what is happening here? Let me see if I can fast forward it. Venezuela looks really nice. I like that she had her hair pulled back. Again, that's not something we see typically from a Venezuelan queen. Normally their hair is down and luxurious and bouncy and out, even for evening gown. So that was nice to see. But I sort of gave up after, I want to say it was like after Puerto Rico or Thailand, one of them. I sort of just gave up because I just felt like, what is the point of me doing this? Because did you see how quickly that went from like, yeah, it was just, this evening gown segment was weird. I felt like some of the girls just didn't get enough time. And, you know, I guess it's because they had 12 girls competing in evening gown. They had 12 girls competing in evening gown, and it was just, I guess, I don't know. Why is she in darkness? Can you answer that? Where's her spotlight? Like, why is there not enough light on her? These are the things. I just gave up because I was just annoyed. I also miss when the ladies would interact with the musicians, the artists who were singing. Like, that is something that I wish we would see more of. And there comes Russia. Thought she looked lovely. Chile looked lovely. But yeah, I just was like, nah, I'm giving up on this because it was just weird to me. Like, you could just see sometimes they're cutting the angles, and it was just like, wait, what's happening? So yeah, this, I don't know. I just gave up on the evening gowns portion. I was just like over it. I was so over it. I was like, I'm over this. This is what it is, you know. So when we got to our top five, we had Nigeria, Mexico, Denmark, Thailand, and Venezuela. Now, the first question that they all got, like, the five of them all got different questions for the first question, which is fine, right? And Nigeria, her question was about respect. And I thought she answered it well, but she didn't say anything that was memorable or anything groundbreaking for me. So it was answered, but it just wasn't super memorable. Mexico was the second person to go. I thought she had a good answer. I thought her answer was beautiful, and I thought she chose her mom as someone she looked up to, but I felt like it was a strong answer for why she chose her mom. Like, a lot of times when you hear people choose their mom, they cite really generic things. My mom is my biggest supporter. She's always been there for me. And I always say, like, a lot of people can say that about their mom, right? But the fact that she spoke about her mom battling cancer, I thought that made her mom unique. I thought that really stood out and was really memorable. She mentioned the Princess Diana quote, and I wasn't sure how that played into the rest of her answer. So that part left me a little bit like confused. But overall, I still thought it was a good answer. Denmark, I thought it was good. I felt like she spoke with a lot of passion, and she was really building up to something powerful, I thought. But I felt like in the end, it didn't quite get there. It was like the little train that I think I can. She was going, and it didn't quite get there for me. But she didn't start off bad, you know? And Thailand, great answer. But towards the end, I did think it sounded unfinished. Venezuela, I was a little bit iffy on her answer as well to her question. I didn't think that she understood the question, or maybe she misheard, because the question was, describe your ideal woman and like what you guys have in common. And I think she heard ideal moment, which is why she spoke about being on the stage with the other women. So I think she kind of misunderstood the question there. Then they had the top five answer another question, and it was I was just like, why would you have the top five answer a second question and everybody got the same question. Why didn't you use the first question round to eliminate two of the girls so that we would have a top three? This would have been consistent with what we saw last year, so I'm not sure why we needed to have all five of them answer another question. To me, making the show longer unnecessarily. Like unnecessarily longer. I don't. Guys, this was just weird. Um so the question was, Miss Universe has inspired generations of women. What is your message to the ones watching you right now? So Nigeria spoke about adversity and being a beacon of hope, which I love that. And while what she said was beautiful and powerful, I just wish that she tailored that message a bit more towards young women, young girls and young women watching it. And I wish she had mentioned her story because I don't know what her story is. And this is something I always say to people when I'm coaching them is don't assume that the judges know your story or that they will remember your story from interview. Like, remind them, provide context, because remember that you're not just speaking to the judges, you are also speaking to the audience, to the fans. And one thing that you want is you want people to be on your side. You want to show why you are deserving of the crown. You have to give people context. I didn't get context from her, so I didn't really understand when she said that she spoke about adversity. But I did think that she sounded very confident while she did it, so that was a plus. Um, Mexico, she spoke about using emotional intelligence to combat cyberbullying, and I thought that was really smart and unique answer. I didn't think about that, and I was like, oh, that I love when contestants throw me for a loop and like present like a different kind of answer that you've never heard of, that you didn't think of. So I thought that was that's really smart of her. It was unique, and I just wish that she had ended stronger. I think she needed a stronger ending to really cement it and bring it on home. Denmark. She spoke about turning her past into her strength, and she spoke with great passion and great inspiration. Like, I thought she was very inspirational. And again, I think just like Nigeria, I do think that she could have provided context to her story for those who had never heard her story before. So you have to remember that not everyone is following the journey to the crown. Not everybody has time to pay attention to the lead up to the final night. So you have to give context. And the reason I say that is because I did see her post a video where she talked about the dysfunctional family that she came from, how there was drugs and abuse involved. And so I understood her story. I'm sure the judges remembered her story, but for like the broader audience, if you not familiar with her story, then you probably would have been one. It sounded very generic, very like general, just not specific to her. It wasn't anything that made her memorable. But I will say again, she spoke with a lot of passion and a lot of inspiration, and I think that a lot of times, it can come down to not just what you say, but how you say it. And I think that might have given her the edge over everyone, is that she was very, very passionate and just very inspirational, and she just had that gust. She spoke with that made you sit up and pay attention and really made you feel her. She connected with you, and I think that gave her the edge in the end. Thailand, she spoke about believing and having hope and working with cancer patients. So she works with cancer patients. So this was an example yet again of another that, to me, she was very consistent from the first question to the second question. I thought it was well answered. To me, she answered the best. She gave the context for people who didn't know her story. So I didn't know that she worked with cancer patients. And so that was really great to hear. I thought all around it was a well-rounded answer. She sounded very intelligent. So to me, she was very much deserving of being in a top 3 placement. And then we had Venezuela, and Venezuela spoke about the women who came before her. And I wish that they translated the question to Spanish for her, because I just feel like maybe if she had heard the question in Spanish, her response would have been stronger. I think there was a little bit of a language barrier there for her. I didn't think that this answer was strong enough to like really cement her placement in that, like, to go farther. So yeah, that's what we ended up with. We ended up with Denmark being the winner and Nigeria being the first runner up. Like I said, if it were me and I was judging this just based on what I'm seeing on stage, it would have been Thailand who would have been higher placed up there. Just because, to me, well-rounded answers. But I feel like in swimsuit and evening gown is probably where got pulled back a little bit, so she may have lost a few points there. So maybe that's why she didn't advance as far. But overall, yeah, that was my summary of the question and answer. After that, we saw Shanice was in darkness for her final walk, and I was kind of like, why is the queen in darkness? But then they posted a photo afterwards showing that her dress had like LED lights and stuff. So I was like, oh, it was supposed to light up. I didn't see it light up. Maybe there was a malfunction there and it didn't light up. Um, I personally was experienced a bad feed like throughout the competition. Which is why I kind of gave up on the evening gown segment as well. I was just kind of like, I'm over this. It was so long and drawn out, and it's just like, oh my god, I'm over this. I'm not doing this. And it was blurry at times. I don't know if anybody else experienced that, but that was my experience. Um, and then after the show, so let's talk about, now we're into the after the show stuff. Let's go to after the show. After the show, y'all, they finally announced the Continental Queens. Remember those? The Continental Queens? The ones they said would be announced after the preliminary competition? And the ones who, the Continental Queens are the highest scoring contestants from the prelims. They didn't announce them after prelims. No, they announced them after finals, causing all this massive amount of confusion because when they did that, it was a lot of people had the idea, kind of like Miss World, how your Continental Queens really should be your highest scoring girls, period. Um, and that is not what they had intended to do. And they should have stuck to the plan, which was to, even if they had announced the Continental Queens right after prelims finished, that would have been better for them. I think it would have caused less confusion. But I do remember them saying the Continental Queens are the highest scoring from each continent after prelims, like from the preliminary competition. So I guess what they're telling us is that the highest scoring for Africa and Oceania was Nigeria, highest scoring for the Americas, Peru, highest scoring for Europe and Middle East, Finland, and highest scoring for Asia, Philippines. Now, I don't know why Miss Universe intends on reinventing the wheel. Can anybody explain that to me? Why are they intending to reinvent the wheel with this? Continental Queens is not a new concept. It's not a new concept. Um, but you're introducing it into they've done it before, I think. And introducing this into your pageant, like, why would you pair Africa and Oceania together? Make it make sense. Or Europe and Middle East. Make it make sense to me, Jesus, because I don't understand it. Make it make sense, guys. Somebody who's smarter than me. Make it make sense, please. I would just like to know. Does that make sense to me? And this caused a lot of confusion because obviously Peru was not in the top 5. Finland was not in the top 5. Heck, Philippines didn't even make the top 12. So this is why they should have stuck to what they said they were going to do and make the announcement after the preliminaries. And the thing is, right? They said that, the top 5 was supposed to be announced. I mean, the Continental Queens was supposed to be announced after prelims, right? And that's what they should have done. They should have announced it after prelims so that this confusion could have been avoided. Because I know a lot of people were like, well, these people weren't in the top 5. But you got to remember, this is what they said that we're going to do after prelims, and they didn't. So for whatever reason. But that means that Nigeria was the highest scoring from Africa, Peru was from the Americas, Europe from Finland, and Asia was Philippines. And to me, it almost kind of seemed, based on their explanation, based on what they said, like, I think it was Anne who said that it was clear to us that we already had queens from these continents. It kind of just sounded like the organization, aka Anne and Raul and probably Osmel, chose these girls as the Continental Queens, as opposed to them actually being the highest scoring from the prelims. I don't know, because how do you leave prelims being the highest scoring and then you go into finals and you compete in the exact same segments, and three out of four of you don't make it all the way to the top five. I mean, I guess it makes sense if you think about it in a sense that just because someone is the highest scoring in their continent, from their continent low area, it doesn't necessarily mean that they were the highest scoring overall. And I think that's part of the issue as well. These are not the highest scoring overall. These are from their region, so from their continent. So technically, you could have multiple people from one continent placing higher than the highest person from a continent. So that makes sense. But yeah, massive amounts of confusion. I also want to talk about the official photos that came from the Miss Universe organization of each contestant. I hated them. Let me see if I can pull them up. I hated them, you guys. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being super critical, but why do they not use Fidel? Is it because they can't afford him anymore? Is it? Just somebody comment down below and let me know why they don't use Fidel, because I just really did not understand why they don't use him. And so they did like this old, I guess it was supposed to be old Hollywood glamour shots of these contestants. Oh, here they are. You guys, I just hate them so much. I hate them. I hate these photos so much. Let me pull it up for you. Okay, these are them. I just don't like them. And it's nothing to do with the girls. It's just, I don't like them. It feels like very, I don't know, just old. It feels old. And everybody's in big jewelry and big neck pieces. It's all very old. It's not giving me today's Hollywood glamour. I didn't really like it. I don't know. Comment down below if you guys liked it. I really just didn't like that at all. So yeah, I didn't like that. And can we talk about this Hulu documentary for a second? Y'all, this Hulu documentary that is coming out is wild to me. I'm definitely gonna see if I can get my hands on it. If I can, I will be back with my comments on it, because that is an interesting documentary to watch. But yeah, overall, I'm very disappointed in this edition, but I'm not surprised that this is what we're gonna get. And I feel like as long as the ownership remains the same, this is what we're gonna kind of get from them from now on. It's rough, but it's what it is. So let's just hope that Miss Universe can transcend this. Like somehow the pageant can, I don't know, at some point be sold to someone who can restore it to its former glory, because this is not the direction now we want to see it go. Either that, or Anne and Raul start to listen to the fans, because we didn't like this. A lot of people didn't like this. And also I saw a lot of people saying that, like, you guys lied about the prelims and the finals. Like, the prelims was supposed to be, well, I thought that you had to pay to watch both of them. So I bought the membership. And then I found out that the prelims were being aired free. And then some people said that they paid for the membership and couldn't get access to the membership for the finals. They couldn't watch the finals because it wasn't allowed. It wasn't allowed in their country. So there's that as well. Like, I just don't understand. I mean, I understand. They're trying to make money. They're trying to recoup as much money as they can. And it totally sucks because, like, you know, we're just so used to it being readily available, either on TV or on their YouTube channel, and to have it not be readily available or not accessible is a pain in the butt for a lot of us. And, you know, that's one of the things that made Miss Universe so, like, beloved, is that we could actually access it from wherever we are in the world. So to not have it be accessible is a pain. But that's all of my thoughts thus far. Like I said, I'm going to try and watch that Hulu documentary, and if I can, then I will definitely be back with my thoughts on that. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to leave your comments down below. What did you guys think about this production? Was it given? Was it not given? Tell me. Leave it down in the comments below. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to share it. And hit the notifications bell so you can be notified of when the next episode comes out. Until next time, have a great day. Bye.